how big of a need is running back in particular? And we'll talk about the other positions too, the other skill positions. But starting with running back, you got McCaffrey, you got Garendo, you got Patrick Taylor Jr., Jordan Mason's gone, Debo's gone. Juszczyk is here for 2 more years. Ha! In your face, Connor.
Take that.
Yeah, in your face, Connor.
I'm the
what
one.
do you think? How big of a need is running back?
Running back.
You kind of got to worry about it a little bit. I don't think it's as big of a need as a lot of the other glaring holes, though. To me, wide receiver is the biggest one. But when you have McCaffrey, who obviously is going to be coming off an injury, you got Garendo behind him. I do like Garendo still. I think at that point, you're really just looking for like a third, or maybe if you're not as high on Garendo, a second back. I'm okay with them kind of waiting until later and like 5th, 6th round and getting somebody that they like. I'm completely fine with that because there's bigger holes. There's bigger holes that they need to fill. Like linebacker, like the whole defensive line, like offensive line, like maybe getting a third corner, but that's lower on the list. Another safety, that's definitely higher. I just think there's bigger needs than like another running back. Ashley clearly disagrees, though.
I kind of disagree too.
Running back is that is how you know if they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Starting in the offseason, in training camp, do they have a healthy running back? Starting week 1, do they have a healthy running back? The only times that they've made it to the Super Bowl, they have been carried by their running back. And right now, Christian McCaffrey is coming off of bilateral Achilles tendonitis and then an additional really, intense injury. But I will say, I feel like the knee injury is like more likely to heal and be healed. The reason I bring up the Achilles tendonitis is an overuse injury. And the second that you ramp up to that same level of usage, it can flare up again. And I'm not wishing injury on anyone, but that's how those, it's different than a broken bone. It's different than his knee injury. Tendonitis flares up again. It's similar to what Eric Armstead had in his foot, where the second you start putting that pressure on, all the reports that came out, he's healthy. Okay, but he's not running every single week in the way that Kyle Shanahan would have to utilize him if they were going to make it to the Super Bowl. Because even though I agree Isaac Garendo was okay, he got injured when he was made to be the number 1 running back. I don't think he can carry that workload. So if Christian McCaffrey is going to be old and injury prone and Isaac Garendo can't be the main running back, he can't carry that load, then you have to have another guy.
So here's the way I look at it. Oh, go ahead, Connor. Go ahead. No,
go
ahead.
To me, the question is like, obviously I agree they need another running back. To me, the thing is, do you prioritize that?
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. The thing about running back is like, it's important, but it's also one of those positions where you can find, it's a dime a dozen. You can find really good running backs on day 3. You can find really good running backs as undrafted free agents, Jordan Mason. So yes, they need one, but I think what's funny is like Kyle kept trying to make round 3 the round where he was going to take running backs, right? Trey Sermon, Ty Davis Price. And then it almost became like a running joke. Like on Tuesday, we have a pre-draft press conference with John Lynch. And one of the questions a couple years ago, last year, was like, hey, you going to take another running back in round 3? And it was like, ha, 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 ha. No, we got told Kyle, and so they made him wait until round 4 last year. So I think that was the compromise. And I would imagine that round 4 is probably going to be the sweet spot again. And just looking at the various services, ESPN, CBS, whatever, like it looks like you could get a running back who runs a 4.4 and is 210 and had like 1,400 yards and 20 touchdowns last year in round 4. That's the nice thing about the position. There's not a shortage of them like there is offensive tackles.
Yeah. See, so if you have that like time, to me, it doesn't make it as big of a need if you're going to be willing to wait to do it. Like to me, I think that the combination of receivers they have, I think they just need one more good one personally. Obviously, I'd love to be proven wrong, but that's just how I view it. And to me, that brings it to have more
Tariq Owens
than the running back.
Tariq Owens. He went to O'Dowd.
Oh, O'Dowd legend? Come on.
O'Dowd legend.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
That would be cool reuniting.
Well, wide receiver. How would you rank if put it this way, if the Niners are going to draft 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and 1 tight end, how would you prioritize it in the draft? Not necessarily in terms of what's the biggest need, but what's the most important to address first in the draft?
Tight end.
I'm leaning wide receiver first. Yeah. I think it's also because I'm just so high on T-Mac that I just think he's the pick. But like, obviously it's not going to happen, but I just think he's the pick. He's so good.
Why'd you say tight end?
Can they go wide receiver high when they just drafted a wide receiver with the first round pick and he didn't really produce? So they have to, they would hope that this year he actually produces.
Maybe that's all the more reason to take a wide receiver in the first round pick. Like, Ricky had two good games.
I say
he also got shot. Let's establish.
I think Ricky's good. I actually think Ricky's going to be good.
I do too.
Yeah.
They've been looking for that tight end too. I don't think they're going to strike gold like they did with Kittle and get someone in the 5th round. I think, when you look at the Latu pick, it shows you they should look higher in the draft if they want a guy who's going to live up to that type of, Kittle level eventually. If that's what they're hoping for. I'm not saying it's the number one priority, but I think if you want to get a guy who's going to be impactful, you want to get that tight end earlier. I think running back, you just said it. You can get a good running back, and Kyle can produce with running backs that they draft later on. And I feel like wide receiver isn't something that they should prioritize in this draft at all. They did that last year.
PrizePicks is sponsoring the Cohn Zone this year. PrizePicks is the leader in daily fantasy and the best place to win cash while watching sports. And the best part about the app is it's really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few players' stats. I'm a Niners guy. So, when I'm doing PrizePicks, I'm looking, the last couple of years, I'm looking at Deebo Samuel because I know Deebo Samuel better than Deebo Samuel knows Deebo Samuel. So if it's like drops, I'm taking more. Or if it's like punches thrown towards his long snapper on the sideline during the 4th quarter of a game, the 49ers will go on to win. I'm smashing more because I know the 49ers and I'm a PrizePicks guy. Now, maybe they didn't have those exact plays, but they have so many plays that'll make your head spin. And you can play PrizePicks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Best part about it is the new user offer. PrizePicks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. So win or lose, you'll get $50 just for playing. That sounds like a win to me. Use promo code Cohn, COHN, to claim your $50 today. Tell them Grant sent you. Why do you have such a personal vendetta against Luke Farrell? I don't understand what he did to you.
I think he
caught make you disregard him
in
like that.
8 years with Jacksonville.
I mean, have you seen the route? Have you watched the tape? Have you seen the route running? Have you seen the burst? Have you seen the route of did I mention the route running? What about the blocking?
The blocking, that's the.
But when the ball did get thrown to him, did he catch it? Yes. So maybe it was Trevor Lawrence's fault. Maybe Mac Jones said Luke Farrell is my favorite target. We have chemistry.
Because Jones was over there, and
I'm telling you, man. Anyway, I think you have a good point. Like when they drafted Cam Latu, they waited until the end of round 3, and I think he was like the 8th or 9th, maybe the 10th tight end who got taken, and it was like, I think you waited too long because it was a really good draft for tight ends, and he wasn't it. So if you want to get a good tight end, you don't necessarily have to take one in round 1, but round 2, round 3.
Do we just like
if they were to take Tyler Warren, they'd be hoping that he's Brock Bowers, but I don't think he's anywhere as good as Brock Bowers. Like Brock's fast.
That's
Brock
fair.
He was good. He was good as a freshman at Georgia. Like Tyler Warren had this one really good year at Penn State.
Who was the guy the other day that you highlighted that is supposed to go in round 2? Tight end. Do you know who I'm talking about? No, because I'm not being specific. I shouldn't have to know all these names. You should just be an encyclopedia.
It's your job, Grant.
For me.
I do want to say though, just on the
ahead.
topic of tight ends, like you guys are both pretty hard on if you get a tight end, you got to get him early. Do we forget George Kittle was a 5th round pick? Like
it's true.
That's something that slipped our minds, and like plenty of tight ends that have become great tight ends. They weren't.
But his testing was like impeccable. He was a 5th round pick because he wasn't utilized. Like, I think people just thought it was a gamble. Maybe can you find a guy like that again? Maybe. I just don't know.
Mason Taylor in round 2. He's really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there's guys that you can find. Every year's obviously different. Maybe this year isn't the year, but like I always think that there's somebody that you can get that's lower.
Isn't Mason Taylor Jason Taylor's son? You guys don't know who Jason Taylor is?
No. Sounds like something I've heard.
Jason Taylor was a defensive end for the Dolphins when I was a kid. I think he's in the Hall of Fame. And Jason, I could see a guy named Jason naming his kid Mason. I'm pretty sure it's Jason Taylor's
Let's look
son.
this up.
You know how the Niners feel about bloodlines.
Oh, it is his son. Mason Taylor is his kid.
Got it. Jason Taylor was one of the best athletes of my generation. That dude was crazy, freaky good at sports.
Yeah, I've seen his face.
Did you say good at
tackling?
He looks like
kind of was his thing.
He looks like Goggins before Goggins was famous.
Let's get Mason Taylor's number because I think I just figured out that Mason Taylor is going to get drafted by the 49ers.
But tell me about it. Tell me about him. What are his?
Okay, hold on. So last year at LSU, he had
LSU, good school.
55 catches for 500. So his numbers weren't that great per se, but neither were Kittle's. Here's what they say about him on NFL.com. Very natural mover with above average athleticism, capable of running an expanded route tree, enough juice to run the seam and stack the linebacker, tracks and adjusts to throws with ideal consistency, cash focus, seems underrated by defenders' challenges, plucks throws with natural hands and good extension, boasts agility and hand quickness to stab off-frame throws, good body control with late adjustments and on-move blocks. He sounds like the best player of all time. Let's check out his weaknesses.
Yeah.
One speed route runner who lacks attention to detail. Makes it too easy to read and jump his route breaks. Needs to improve his physicality and leverage inside the route. Requires better technique and commitment as a blocker. Needs to bring his hands inside to improve block sustain. It sounds a lot like the draft review of George Kittle. If you go back and read the review of George Kittle, they're just like, his routes suck. It's like, whoa. What about the fact that he's like the best after the catch tight end ever after Gronkowski? They didn't really talk about that.
I think athletic testing for tight ends, especially if you're going to the 49ers, like Kyle Shanahan can scheme you open in zone coverage. It's not necessarily like, can you win man to man when you're a tight end on the 49ers? It's when the ball comes to you, can you catch it? And then can you run and break tackles?
Yep. I look at it is if you're trying to take the George Kittle heir apparent, it's round 2. It's this guy probably. It's round 1 and round 2, a guy who can do it all. And if you wait until round 3, then it's the guy who can catch but not block, or block but not catch, probably. Yeah.
I had no idea. The chat just went crazy after we brought up Jason Taylor that I had to look this up. I had no idea that
he's 23.
I am a young child, but Jason Taylor is related to Joy Taylor. The chat just exploded, and I was like, I have to look this up. They're related.
Is that true?
They're brother and sister. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Joy Taylor is Jason Taylor's sister.
Yeah. The fact that I knew Joy Taylor, but not Jason Taylor is crazy. I will well admit it, but they're related.
Wow. How about that?
Pretty wild to me. I don't know about you guys, but that was mind-boggling for me. I was just kind of
shocked. I didn't know that. Let's look at Jason Taylor real quick, just for the sake of it, for people who other people who don't know who Jason Taylor was. Okay, so he played.
Tom says he has great bench.
1997 to 2011 and had 139 sacks. Bosa has 60
I was
something.
9 when he retired. Like I don't know him. I'm sorry. I was 9. I don't.
He was the defensive player of the year when he was 32. He's one of the most natural. He's in the Hall of Fame, 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, like 6'6", 245. Pretty good.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
It's pretty good. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about Jason Taylor.